Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria. If you watch this video and you enjoy it, don't be shy, hit the like button. And subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Today I have a video for you on what might be going on with your mental health after emotional abuse. So let's start off by talking about what is emotional abuse. Have you been through a situation in which you have been manipulated, gaslighted, which means somebody has caused you to question your own reality? Have you been put down, embarrassed? You know, all of these things fall under the umbrella term of emotional abuse. And this could show up in your childhood. This could show up if you grew up in the game of triangulation with narcissistic parents or caretakers. All right, so this would mean that maybe you were the scapegoat and you had siblings who were the invisible child and the golden child. All right, maybe you went through emotional abuse in a love relationship, a love marriage even. As an adult. But a lot of times when we go through the emotional abuse in a love relationship, that's because we came from a emotionally abusive upbringing when we were children, all right? Or were you bullied? Because bullying is definitely long-term emotional abuse. So let's think about it. Have you been through emotional abuse? So the abuse isn't the worst part, right? The worst part is what happens for the years after the abuse is over, all right? The trauma of what happens to our brains and the way in which we think and perceive ourselves for the years to come until we go through our healing journey after emotional abuse. So what happens to our brains? Well, we have a part of the brain called the limbic system, and I talk about this in other videos as well, but it hosts two areas called the amygdala and the hippocampus. Well, the amygdala is what is in charge of our emotions. And if we have been through emotional abuse, we know that even after the abuse is over, we tend to work off of emotions. This is because the amygdala is so activated. All right. So we're no longer thinking logically. We're thinking out of our emotions. Well, as the amygdala is activated and we're thinking out of our emotions, the part of the brain called the hippocampus shrinks. And the hippocampus is what is in charge of retaining, learning new information, retaining it in our memory. All right. So as we're working off of emotions, is it really easy to learn new information and to remember new things and remember everything that happened during our trauma? No. That's because the brain cells are dying and the hippocampus has shrunk. All right. So these are some things that are happening in our brains even after the emotional abuse has ended. All right? This is the aftermath. This is a part of the journey of mental health after emotional abuse. So we talk about something called complex post-traumatic stress disorder a lot in this YouTube channel, all right? So there's actually a whole playlist on complex post-traumatic stress disorder, but we'll go over the 5 signs real quick just so if this is something you haven't heard of before, you might be able to relate to something, okay? So one of the 5 signs is called emotional flashbacks, and that means that something happened to you today at work and you felt shame, and that shame reminded you of the shame you felt when you were a child in that narcissistic upbringing, okay? You then go into an emotional flashback. You feel as if you are back in that situation when you were abused, and you bring that into the present time. All right, as if the past was happening right now. I can't say how long this emotional flashback will last, but it's not just like, oh, it came and it went, right? So these are things that we notice when we have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Another sign of complex post-traumatic stress disorder is social anxiety. Are you in social situations and you go into a flight trauma response? You need to get out of that situation immediately. Does it affect your thought process? These people don't like me. I don't want to be here. I'm uncomfortable. Is it hard for you to listen to the words that other people are saying? Do you disassociate? All right. So these are some things that happen to you when you have C-PTSD. Something else that happens is what we call a vicious inner critic. So it's this loop we're on where we tell ourselves, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty, I'm not smart, I'm never going to get that job, I'm never going to make enough money, there's something wrong with me, okay? So this is a vicious inner critic. These are words that someone said to you, or ways in which someone made you feel that you are now replaying in your subconscious mind. Something else that comes along with C-PTSD is what's called toxic shame. So toxic shame means that at some point in your life, someone shamed you. You took what they said to you and you attached it to your identity. You believed it to be a part of who you are at the core as a human being. Okay? All of this stems from emotional abuse. And finally, self-abandonment. All right? So at some point in your childhood, you may have developed a core wound of abandonment. Right? You didn't feel validated. You didn't feel like anyone was there for you. All right? So we take that from childhood, and as we bring it into adulthood, we do what's comfortable to us and we abandon ourselves, and we call that self-abandonment. And that shows up in the form of, let's say, people pleasing. So we do things for other people even though we don't have time. All right, we know what people pleasing is. Well, a lot of times we put other people in front of ourselves, put their needs first, because we are self-abandoning. That's the term for it. Okay, so all of these 5 things are a part of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is affecting our mental health after the emotional abuse is long gone. So I know this is a lot of information, and it may feel like you're broken internally forever, but this couldn't be farther from the truth, you guys. What I want you to gain from this video is that even though all these things are going on with you, there's nothing wrong with you. All of these things that are happening to you are because of something that someone else did to you. These are not going to be like this for the rest of your life. You have the opportunity to heal. You can go on a healing journey. You need to actually get into these wounds, these core wounds that you have inside. And individually, you need to address the trauma in each one, feel the feelings, process the feelings, and allow them to move through your body. All right? This does not mean that you are going to die because you have C-PTSD and your life is doomed and you're never going to have a healthy relationship. This means you have a testimony, you have a story, you have something you can work on, move past, and you can help other people to do the same. So I just want to encourage you today to just keep going. Your healing journey isn't going to just be, oh, I'm going to start healing today, and in about 2 months, I'm going to feel great and I'm going to go on with my life. You know, it's going to be up and down. You may feel great and somebody or something triggers you and you go into an emotional flashback for a week. You know, I don't know. But there's so many ups and downs in the healing journey. All right. When we come out of emotional abuse, there are things that we need to do, such as reprogram our subconscious mind to believe thoughts that are better than how we feel. We need to teach ourselves how to work through emotional flashbacks and things that might trigger us, okay? Because our triggers are our responsibility. Our healing journey is our responsibility. But it's really important to know that if you go into a healing journey knowing that it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, you're not going to quit, then you're going to heal from C-PTSD and emotional abuse. You're going to have healthy relationships and you're going to live a healthy life. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't be shy, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And as always, I wish you all the love in the world.